Hey friends, welcome back to Leah's Leaves. Welcome me back to Leah's Leaves. I haven't posted here in a while. A lot of things sort of serving as interference, one of which is this little delight right here. Gas line runs through the property. Of course, the natural gas company has eminent domain. They needed to repair a piece of pipe under this blank spot. That was where my garden shed was. This was where my raised beds were, and this was my 10 by 14 in-ground bed. As you can see, all gone. The shed got moved, the beds got dismantled, and the in-ground bed, they're just going to fill in, smooth over, and plant grass seed here and just turn it into yard. In the future, I may be able to garden in this spot, but it won't happen this year. So, I am relegated to container gardens, kiddie pools, and the south side of the house where I plant all my sun-loving things like okra, corn, and sunflowers, because it gets the most sun of anywhere in the property. And all of the tomato varieties I'm growing will go in either very, very large grow bags or 5-gallon buckets. Let's take a look at tomatoes. Lead the way, Ivy. You coming? Hi. Say hi to everybody. So I really disciplined myself this year, knowing that I would be limited on what I could grow. I planted 16 varieties of tomatoes only, and only about 12 of them will grow here, and the rest will grow over on my uncle's property. And they are, starting with number 1, Paul Robeson. Number 2, Raspberry Liana. Number 3, American Blue. I got those from Nicotovka seeds. Number 4, Dr. Witchy's Yellow. Number 5, Thorburns Terracotta, one of my favorite tomatoes I grew last year. Number 6, Dwarf Bahaha. I also got that from Ukraine. Number 7, Mamie Brown. That's a new variety to me. Number 8, Bonnie Best. That's also a new variety to me. Number 9, Brad's Atomic Grape. Number 10, Pineapple and Purple Tomatillos. I did not get very good germination on the tomatillos, so I sowed a few extras. And I just noticed today that like 5 of them have sprouted. So I will have tomatillos, which I love. The pineapple ones are my favorite. 11, Gargamel. And I have some Gargamel seeds. The left side came from Nicotovka, left side of the cup. And the right side of the cup came from Joe Koslowski, the Garden State gardener. Number 12, Amish paste tomatoes. I wanted a lot of paste tomatoes this year so I can put up tomatoes and sauce. Down here in these 3 cups, we have Uluru Ochre Dwarf, Bogema Dwarf, and Turgai Dwarf. Those were all 3 dwarf varieties that did very well for me last year in buckets. Number 16 there is the Red Pride. That was the best determinate variety for my climate that I grew here in Western PA last year. So I'm definitely growing more of those. And then in numbers 17 and 18 are Chinese Giant Bell Peppers and King of the North Bell Peppers. I wasn't sure which variety would do better in this climate, so it's an experiment for me to try a couple of each. The rest of the tomatoes are here in this little square tray, and they're all micro toms. From right to left, I've got Tiny Tim, Balcony Venus, Gold Pearl, Red Robin, Patio Choice, and Little Red Riding Hood. Got those Little Red Riding Hood seeds from Joe as well, and some of the others I got in seed swaps for National Seed Swap Day back in January. Now the rest of this tray are all my good hot peppers. I did not get terrific germination this year, and that's a telltale sign that my seeds are starting to get old. I did multi-sow in the hopes that, you know, even if I was at a 50% germination rate, I'd get something. And that's just a good tip is, you know, at the end of the year, don't throw your seeds away, keep them, plant them again next year. If after 2 or 3 years, instead of throwing them away, just plant more. So if it says, you know, 1 seed per inch, plant 3 seeds per inch and then thin them. And you may still yet get germination. They don't just quit because there's an expiration date on the package. So this, of the peppers that did germinate, this is what I have. Lemon drop, cayenne, habanero, serrano, red savino, which is a hot variety of habanero, boot holokia, Jamaican mushroom, Jimmy Nardello, golden marconi, sweet banana, habanada, pasilla bahillo, alma paprika, early jalapeno, Craig's grande jalapeno, orange spice jalapeno, lemon spice jalapeno, and Brazilian starfish. The 2 that are most disappointing for me is I didn't get any large red hot cherries, and they were a terrific plant last year, and they produced a ton of fruit that had, it was like just hot enough that it had a much broader variety of uses than the super hots. And I didn't get any Scotch bonnets, and I was sad that my Scotch bonnet peppers didn't germinate. They're supposed to be in that spot right there, because my mom, when she lived in Miami, learned how to make Haitian pickles, a cooking condiment. It's a pickled cabbage, carrots, and such, and they soak it in this wonderful Scotch bonnet brine. So I have the recipe, and I wanted to grow my own Scotch bonnet peppers and be able to make pickles here at my home, and not going to happen this year. But that's okay. That's part of gardening. You try things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and then you make do with what you got. So this year's strategy has to be changed. I won't have any in-ground space at all. And even though I have a lot of containers, what I don't have is a lot of free yard space where I can mess up the yard by covering it with containers. That's what I'm limited on now. I'm going to use steps like I did last year with my pepper and tomato buckets, staggering them up a flight of stairs. It got them off the ground. It's also great, by the way, if you plant carrots in containers, which I like to do, because the carrot flies don't go up that high. So if you put your carrots at a slightly higher elevation, the carrot flies don't touch them. I'll plant my herbs in small pots and pepper them up a flight of stairs that goes to my kitchen. So just kind of, you know, figuring out creative ways to maximize the space I can have. I have a lot of shoveling, a lot of arranging, a lot of thinking about which plant can fit in which container. So that's the part that I'm going to be busy with over the next 2 weeks or so. 10-day forecast looks good for, we are likely past our last frost date, and we had a frost on May 3rd, May 2nd or May 3rd, which was just a few days ago, but warmer weather setting in. So let's hope it stays that way and that we don't have any surprises before June, which is not out of the realm of possibility this far into the mountains of Pennsylvania. But I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic, we'll say. The last tray I have working on here is a combination of warm weather plants and herbs. There's red noodle beans. They're going to go around my bigger kiddie pool that I don't plant in it. I actually use it as a pool for cooling off. And I create a living hedge around it by putting like a teepee trellis around half of it and growing these red noodle beans up it, and it will create a living barrier between me and the road and give some, like a privacy fence. And then this is early sun glow corn, sweet corn. And this is a combination of heavy hitter okra, which is the best okra I have ever grown. And I'll grow it every year. And then there may be some red burgundy okra mixed in there. I had just an okra mix. I'm very, very excited about a couple of things I'm trying this year. Orange Glow watermelon. I've been wanting to grow this variety for a few years now. I'm finally doing it. This is Kiwano Jelly Melon. I got some in the mystery packets at M.I. Gardner earlier this year, and I thought, what the heck, I'm going to give it a shot. And the Delice de la Table, it's a type of muskmelon, like a cantaloupe, that Jess Sowards from Roots and Refuge Farm talks about as one of her favorites. So I acquired some seeds in a swap, and I'm trying that. And then over here I've got some thyme growing. This is Rose Marvel Sage. I got those seeds in a seed swap. That's a new variety to me. This is just regular sage growing right behind it. There's some teeny tiny little sweet marjorams just starting to crop up. They'll come up soon. And then I have some Emily basil here and some purple opal basil here. And I'm waiting and hoping for lemon savory and lemon cilantro. Neither has germinated yet, but there's still time. I only planted these on May 3rd. Today's May 9th. So there's still time. And then I planted two kinds of marigolds, but only one has germinated so far. These are just normal French doubles, the dwarf variety that you usually see in the garden centers and whatnot. These ones were Marietta, Dainty Marietta, Yellow Marigold. They're a single type of marigold, but they didn't germinate. I'll hold out a few more days and see if I get any latecomers. But I was really hoping for some of those. And I'm definitely going to need to have more marigolds than just 3 for pest prevention. So I may yet plant more. We'll see how she goes. So anyway, now you're all caught up. The only other thing I've got going is bok choy, chijimisai, and some lettuce in my green stock. And then in this basket is Rouge de Verona radicchio and some spinach growing in the middle. And then in this little pot is a ton of bok choy that I'm going to grow partly as microgreens, and then I'll prick some of them and plant them in the green stock. And the rest I'll leave and just harvest young for stir fry. And then over here I got, this whole thing was filled with carrot seeds. Only 3 germinated. They were kind of old seeds, so I wasn't sure what would happen. So I went ahead and threw some other herb seeds in there instead. And I'm just now getting some little baby germination from the herbs. So that'll be a mixed pot. And that's what's happening here at Leah's Leaves this season. And that's pretty much it, because that's all I have room for, having lost all that other space. But I'm trying to make the best of it, and I'm still going to grow a boatload of food, and I'll be very thankful for the process and learning to adapt, challenge myself, get creative. And who knows, I may yet have like the most successful garden I have ever had, precisely because all my original plans had to be thrown right out the window, right? Anyway, I'm learning to learn it here, and I hope you'll come grow with me. Bye.